Hello, this is my screencast, and I will be talking about how gaming products make the audience respond to their product. Here I'll be talking about the game called RuneScape, which is an MMORPG, which stands for Massive Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Game. Here I'll be talking about the semiotics, which means what objects mean or represent. First, I'll be talking about the denotation of the logo. As you can see here, the logo is in bold, massive silver letters, and the denotation may be that silver represents wealth, because silver is used in jewelries and watches and many others. And at the center of the title, there's a sword that is made of pure gold, and the connotation of that maybe might represent royalty, because kings would use them to fight for wars, and they would hold a really expensive golden sword. And the denotation of the background is black and it looks shadowy, and the connotation of that maybe it might represent evil, because because evil usually wear like black robes and basically stay mysterious. On the right hand side, you can see that it's an image of the official website, and as you can see at the center, there's an image of a hero, because there's lighting that shines on him, and as you can see that he's swinging a massive sword, and it can show that the game is set in a medieval age, because at those times they have great massive two-handed swords. Genre. Since RuneScape is a MMORPG, it specializes in photorealism and a part of fantasy as well. As you can see at the bottom left image, that the people are in armor, wearing swords and shields, which shows what it was like in the medieval times. But also the fantasy part, that it involves dragons, demons, and many other creatures, add that fantasy part to it. Also how the game has evolved during time. You can see from the first image that many of the characters look pixelated and blurry, and they don't look too human at all. They look like robots, whereas on the right hand side image, you can see all that detail that's added to the game. As you can see on the ground, there's tiles and all that depth and detail and shading, and the characters look more human and alive. And the fact that fantasy MMORPGs have changed over time, they try to improve the graphics to make it look more realistic to the audience. Narrative structures. The game is single-stranded, because you play as one character that goes through the narratives, and the game is more open, because it creates more of a choice for the player, which means they can either decide to do something or do something else in any specific order. The narrative is non-linear, because the fact that the player can either choose to go through the storyline, the narrative, in a specific order or any order at all. Even if they start it, they don't have to finish it, and it doesn't really affect them. However, the quests that is the storyline are linear, because there's an ending to it, and after each sequel you can complete the quest, and specific things happen depending on what you do in the quest. And the game specializes in following four of the theorists, such as Props, Svetlana Todorov, Roland Barthes, and Levi Strauss. The fact that it's an MMORPG, it contains props character types such as heroes, villains, donor, dispatcher, false hero, helper, reward, and rewarder. Basically, the hero you play as the hero, and the villain in the game really depends on which quest you do. Some of the heroes involve evil magicians, demons, and many others. The donors are the ones that give the hero something to help them, such as a sword, special powers, and there are many that do that in the game. Such as, for example, there's a specific quest which involves a void knight to give you a specific sword to kill a boss. And the dispatcher is the one that sends the hero on the journey, and this is really common in MMORPGs because the character, which is the player, talks to many NPC, non-playable characters, to start quests, and they send them on the journey. The false hero tempts the hero away from the quest. So basically, it's usually a bad guy who tries to take the hero to a different route, so that it's going their way. And the helper basically helps the hero on their journey or quests. Such as in the game, there's a character known as the Wise Old Man, and he basically helps you through the quests and helps you defeat some of the monsters in the quests. Reward. Reward in RuneScape is very fascinating because you can get reward as from bosses, monsters, and for quests. And you also get the rewarder, the person who has the authority to mainly like kings, and they basically give you rewards such as experience to level up your character. And this is what makes the game entertaining, so that the audience, basically the audience wants to achieve a high level, so they get like the rewards they get from rewarders are experience, money, gear, and many others. The other theorist is Svetlana Todorov, who invented the 5-part narrative structure. And the 5 structure is equilibrium, disruption of equilibrium, recognition of disruption, attempt to resolve the disruption, restoration leading to a new equilibrium. So basically, it starts out in a nice, peaceful place, and you just basically go to the woods to chop down tree, but as soon as you get back, something bad happens, like the town's on fire, and you recognize that a bad guy has done all of this, and you try to stop him, like resolve the disruption, and basically restore peace in the end, and a new equilibrium starts all over again. And MMORPGs do this very well because the fact that you get a lot of different types of quests you can do, and they basically all start as something nice, then something goes wrong, and this basically creates more problems for the hero to solve and do. The next theorist is Roland Barthes, who've used ideas such as enigma and action in games. Enigma helps create mystery in the games for the audience to figure out, and since it's mysterious, it makes the audience think more like what's going to happen. And in MMORPG, they like to do this because they have quests that have sequels that you follow up. So let's say the first one you complete, you might find something mysterious in there that you might not know, that you think might happen in the next part. And action. Basically, action is what helps keep the audience entertained, such as, for example, basically in RuneScape, before you get to a boss fight, there's music which helps create that theme that makes the audience realize that they're getting closer to the boss. And the final theorist is Levi Strauss, who created the binary oppositions, like how there's good and evil, male and female. It's like if you don't know what evil is, you don't know what good is, and there has to be one or the other, like the yin and yang. Representation. It basically means how characters are represented in the real life world as well. Such as in the game, there are the daily citizens who are represented really badly and negative because they're really weak and they always get killed and robbed, like how normal people are in the real world. And there are some characters that are represented in positive ways, like the king. In the game, kings from different areas are represented as the good guy, the ruler, like the ruler of the land, like how it will be in the real life. And stereotyping shows what people usually think what a character would actually be represented like. For example, like some of the NPCs in the game, like barbarians, they are very stereotypical because they're very masculine, because they're strong, holding big axes in the game, but also the fact that they're really dumb makes them really easy to fool. And there are many different types of creatures and races in the game, such as goblins, trolls, ogres. Like the goblins always are greedy and they always steal, whereas the ogres are like really massive and ugly. Some of the representations involve like social class, age, geodemographic, and many others. And a good example of a upper class is the king in the game, which like royalty. He has like all the money and he sits on the throne. And this is like in real life, like the businessman Alan Sugar, who has this big massive company who earns millions. And then you get the lower class, such as the Trump in the game, who always begs for money. And this is similar to reality, like the homeless people who asks for money and who begs on the streets. And that's it. Thanks for watching.